Yolan True, and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy, and welcome to another episode of our little A to Z officer series. And before I talk about our next uncommon officer, which I sometimes tend to call Surrogate Kirk, I just want to say, if you're not a subscriber of my channel yet but do like my videos, then please do subscribe to my channel, and when you do, also click this little bell and all notifications so you will be notified when another video comes out. But now let's have a look at Hikaru Sulu. He is the Sulu from the 2009 Star Trek movie with Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. And he is class command, which means you need command badges to upgrade him. He is indeed from the Enterprise crew, which means if he's captain, and listen to that, he can get synergy from others of that group. If he's not captain but on the bridge with the captain of that crew, he can give synergy to that captain. And he's from the faction Federation, which means you need Federation faction credits to upgrade him. He is from a movie, as I said, and I'm quite surprised in this case that the text, there's always a text about the officers in the info box, but usually someone prominent from a movie or series gets a much longer text. This one is quite short, I must say. And we learned a lot about him in the three newer Star Trek movies, about his family even, and so on. So I was really surprised to see that text. They didn't put a lot of effort in there. And that despite the fact that as an uncommon officer, you will get him usually very, very early, and I come to that in a second. But because of that, he can play a very important role for your gameplay here, because I said it in the beginning, I sometimes call him Surrogate Kirk, because in case you don't get the epic Kirk from the same crew very early, which takes a little bit because epic officers need a bit longer than rares or uncommons, then you can use him instead of Kirk. And that's the good thing, because of his captain ability. The Do Not Test Me, and he was acting captain on the Enterprise in the movies anyway in between. When the ship is getting hit by a critical hit, Sulu has a 40% chance of inspiring morale to the ship for one round. Of course, it's not that easy. You have to be hit by a critical hit, which doesn't happen every round. But still, you have a chance of inspiring morale, which you usually would do with Kirk, and then put Bones and Spock with him if you're an explorer. But in this case, even earlier in the game, for example, if you're one of those that, because it's not that expensive, were using a jellyfish, which many people do, it might make sense to put Sulu on the jellyfish as captain, for example. Because at that point, most won't have Kirk, most won't have PMC yet, and because that's so on early levels that they will still need some time to get those crews, and then it really might make sense, even if he doesn't inspire morale over and over again like Kirk would do much more, but Sulu can at least do that and trigger abilities from others with that. And of course, his officer ability ranking fire, when the ship has morale, Sulu increases the total damage made by energy weapons by 40%. So once again, of course, something most valuable on an explorer because of the energy weapons. But the morale thing he can bring himself triggers his officer ability as well. I know that many will say, no, I've got better crews and whatever. But I also know that many never thought about trying to replace Kirk with Sulu, and my level 12 account that I'm using for certain videos, and that's why I'm not upgrading that higher at the moment, didn't have Kirk for quite some time. And so I'm doing some dailies there regularly, so to keep that on track a bit, to be able to show things and have some ships maxed and something like that for the video. So I did use the Sulu Bone Spock crew there. Now I've got a better one since I got Beverly Crusher. I still don't have Pike there. I have Beverly Crusher with Moreau and Chan. That's working very well as a replacement for PMC. But until I had her, I seriously used Sulu, Spock, and Bones there. Of course, someone else would say put Bones or Spock as captain, then they're stronger and everything else. But this also did work there. Just as an example which you can try for yourself. It might depend always on of course you need an explorer to do that and everything else, but you might just want to try this. It might work for others better than for me, it might work for others worse than for me. It's always a thing about what else you did around there. My syndicate level is not too bad on that account, so that might help, but I just want to give another option here that a lot of people never thought about. I know there will be some criticism because of Spock and Bones, I know, but just try it. And then you maximum wasted 1 minute if it's not working for you, but you at least have another option that you can try. But of course, I would like to know from others about Sulu as usual. And in this case, when I put up a little bit more controversial crew especially, I expect some comments, but nevertheless, let's hear it. Of course, you want to know how to get Sulu, and the point is, why I said you will have him quite early, most probably, is the places where you can get him, because he's already in the standard recruit section. And with Scotty and Akadi from the same crew as well, so even if you don't have Bones or Spock yet, I also used him with other uncommon officers much earlier than because you have a chance to get them really early here. The tokens you get every day via your dailies, even if you don't have the tokens, if you've seen my video on that, you know how to get charts from officers here even if you don't have the tokens, and so those officers in here are really easy to get. But he's also in the premium recruit section, and those tokens you also regularly get, and as an uncommon officer the probability that you will get shards for him here is quite high. Then he's also in the Federation recruit section. Some of those tokens you get via missions, and they are not too expensive if you want to get some of those from the Federation faction store, if you're in positive with the Federation faction. And then you can also get more charts from Sulu here. And there are not so many officers in here, and the uncommon ones have a good probability. And then he's also in the Elite Federation recruit. I only used the few tokens I got via missions. I'm not buying those in the Federation faction store because from my point of view they're just too expensive and you need to be on a higher reputation level. But those I'm not buying, but I have to give you the full picture, so Sulu is in here as well. If you want to get shards here, especially because of Leslie and Hendor, for example, then of course you can do it and have a chance to get more Sulus here as well. And he's also in an event that just happened recently again. It's usually once a month, and that's Crucible of War. Depending on your level, you will have 1 or 2 exchanges here in the recruit section for that as well. And in one of them, Sulu is definitely in there as well. If you have other questions then about Sulu, I mean, you can ask questions about Sulu, but if you have questions in general as well or video requests, you know that I regularly read the comments. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.